Good morning, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the November 7th Mount Vernon City School Board meeting. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trustee McDonough? Trustee Maribel?
Present.
Trustee Mitchell? Trustee Middleton?
Present.
Trustee Njenga?
Here.
Trustee White?
Present.
Trustee Kerwin?
Present.
VP Kelly?
Here.
And President Saunders.
Here.
We have a quorum. Student Trustee de Grand Prix?
Well, tonight we have a special treat. We have two students from the Denzel Washington School of the Arts that are going to perform for us. We're going to first start with Caitlin Leslie. She's going to give us some poetry.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Today I will be performing my original poem, A Black Woman Introduced. I feel this poem is appropriate for the times that we are in currently. I am a black woman. I don't hear any applause, so I'll say it again. I am a black woman. I am gel and mousse and afros let loose, looking at us as you bliss-induced, introduced to the world the second Eve took that bite. Ever since then, we've had to fight. Fight fights that aren't ours, out of love, as a must, when no one will fight for us. When no one will fight for us. When no one will fight for me. When no one will fight for my mom. When no one will fight for my sisters. And I don't mean sisters in the sense of blood, but sisters in the sense of love and unity and shared scars, because I don't have any real sisters. Just brothers. Black brothers, young black men I'm scared to see on the news another young man gone because of the color of his skin, but either way, to me, my skin is joy. To me, my lips are joy. To me, my hoops are joy. To me, my music is joy. To me, my food is joy. To me, my hair is joy. Our hair is joy. It's the joy I see in my mother's smile when I tell her, everyone love a little natural hairdo today. It's a joy she has for me because she couldn't have it for herself. Because when she was my age, a perm was the way to go. Not to say there's anything wrong with them, but it was the only way to go for her. And she doesn't want that for me. She doesn't want shame for me. As I write this, my throat closes up thinking about performing this poem to a non-black audience in fear of them not understanding and in fear of me being filled with shame because they're not capable of understanding. But shame is not a name I ever want to associate to my work or to my people, or to my work about my people. I will not be shameful for the fact that I am gel and mousse and afros let loose, looking at us as you bliss-induced, introduced as amazing and great, only when convenient. We've always had to fight fights that aren't ours, out of love, as a must, when no one will fight for us. So often our young women are taught to feel shame for anything related to our people. Our loud celebration and heart-filled laughter is ghetto. Our gravity-defying hair is nappy. Our clothes are too raunchy. Our music's out of style. Our way of speaking isn't even ours at all anymore. None of it is. But y'all don't want me to get into that. Y'all don't want to hear me at all because the black pride and struggle genre is old, overused, dull. You're tired of hearing it? We're tired of telling it, but we'll let you stop having to listen to it when you start listening to us. We're tired of fighting fights that aren't ours, out of love, as a must. No, as a must when no one. I will never stop being gel and mousse and afros let loose, looking at us as you bliss-induced, introduced as strong, as if we ever had the choice to be anything else. We've always had to fight Fight fights that aren't ours out of love, no as a must, even though no one will ever fight for us. I am a black woman. Give me some applause. Thank you.
Again, that was Caitlin Leslie from our Denzel Washington School of the Arts. Thank you, Caitlin. Next, we have Charlize Ford. She's going to sing for us. I don't know what she's going to sing tonight. I just told her to sing something that she needs to sing for us. So, thank you, Charlize.
Okay, I will be singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow from The Wizard of Oz.
Sing.
That I've heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you've dared to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Charlize, for Denzel Washington School of the Arts. Thank you, ladies.
So this evening, we have 2 awards to give out. The first one, I want to say that students and their families filed into the schoolyard on Monday, September 16, 2024, for the first day of school in person at Graham School. Students were learning remotely for the first 2 weeks of school as the school was undergoing renovations. There were renovations to 24 rooms. So I want to say kudos goes to Dr. Hunter McGregor and her staff, and if they would come forward. For ensuring that students receive academic support while Graham was being rehabbed. In addition, the building and ground staff went beyond the call of duty to ready the school. Also, parents and families received up-to-date communication. So we want to thank them for their efforts, and school has been ongoing ever since. In particular, we enjoyed the Fall Festival this past weekend. Thank you. Secondly, the Mount Vernon STEAM Academy is ranked at the top 25 public school in Westchester County. You can clap for that. So STEAM is in the top 6% in New York State, and that's according to the Public School Review's 24-25 rankings. Public School Review collects data and provides analysts of public schools throughout the country. Westchester County has a high concentration of top-ranked public schools, and STEAM is among them. With math and reading, English language arts test scores between 85 and 89%, the school outpaced the state's average by more than 40%. STEAM Academy also scored higher than the 71% in reading and 79% in math proficiency. That's also above Westchester County. So I want Dr. Christopher Pierce for you to come forward, please, and your staff. And if you have any staff members. So your school was selected in Westchester, and we're so proud of that. We know that this is a long time coming, and you guys have realized the vision, because when it was started, it was made for this purpose, so you understood the expectation. Kudos goes to you, Dr. Christopher Pierce, and your staff for realizing the vision of STEAM Academy. You understood the assignment. Thank you.
I just want to say something. I'm very emotional right now. So on my wall in my office, I have a laminated letter from the late Sharon Bradley with the pen that she gave me in 2018 when we started. So that serves as a perpetual reminder to me what my mission is all about. So I'm just going to read the small quote that she gave me in 2018. Dear Mr. Pierce, I am so excited about our new educational adventure. I wanted us to have a momentum to celebrate our inaugural year, so I purchased the pen as a little token. As we make history in the city of Mount Vernon, let's continue to steam ahead into a great school year. Sincerely, Sharon Bradley. And so I also want to dedicate this tribute to the late Sharon Bradley.
Thank you so much.
We're going to move on to public comment. There is no legal requirement to recognize public comment at meetings of the Board of Education. However, the board recognizes the critical importance of community discourse and involvement in the education of Mount Vernon's children, and accordingly, members of the public are invited to speak at each regularly scheduled board meeting, subject to the terms of the board policy. Please state your name, address, and the organization, if any, you represent. A speaker must register in advance by no later than 4 p.m. the day of the meeting by contacting the district clerk in person at 165 North Columbus Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York, by phone at 914-665-5235, or by email. The board welcomes all respectful comments, whether praise or criticism. However, identifying and criticizing a specific student, parent, teacher, administrator, other Mount Vernon education official, or employee is strictly prohibited. Any such complaint must be presented and addressed through the proper administrative channels. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes to speak. Up to 1 additional minute may be used for the speaker to summarize and conclude their remarks. If appropriate, board trustees and/or the superintendent or other staff members at the direction of the superintendent may immediately respond to a speaker's remarks. Our first speaker tonight is Norman Hupman. Norman Hupman? Erica Peterson.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Erica Peterson. I live here in Mount Vernon, New York. I have a question because I am highly confused about how year after year, board meeting after board meeting after board meeting, trustees who run their campaign solely based on how great the budget is and zero tax increase and how fiscally responsible they're going to be about our budget. But yet we are in this position where now we're being told that the budget you've been lied to about the budget for over the past 5 years. How are we here? What information were you not reviewing properly to now have us in this situation where for the past decade we have been in severe financial distress? The past decade. We all know the K-8 model, it has not worked. If you have 13 schools in the district, it's not going to work. If for 13 K-8 models, I would like to know what happened with the budget, when were they first notified? Mr. Formoso, thank you so much, because the second I saw you speak at Graham during the tenure meeting, I said, that man is on to something. I would also like to know how much money the district has collected in school taxes since we've been doing it. You did a great presentation showing the slide how much that has not been, that the city owes, but what has the school district been able to bring in themselves?
Dr. Bethany Wy.
Hello, I'm Dr. Bethany Wy Flry. I'm the Pennington PTA president, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Pennington parents who oppose the 7th, 8th grade children being transitioned into the high school. The community voted to take a $108 million bond to retrofit the elementary schools to incorporate the 7th and 8th grades. And now the district and the board want to convince everyone that doing 180 on this choice is a sound financial decision. That just doesn't make sense to me. The board is saying that the 7th and 8th grades aren't working in the elementary school, but I disagree. I have been shown data that a significant improvement in the ELA and math state test scores for the 7th and 8th graders since that they have become part of the elementary schools. Other people say the 7th and 8th grades aren't working because the class sizes are too small. But research shows that smaller classes improve students' academic performance, allowing them to receive individualized attention. Having our 7th and 8th graders at Pennington is wonderful for our community. The students help by volunteering at our events and assist their parents by picking up their siblings. Before making the decision to move the pre-K 8th grade model, a significant amount of research was done by the previous superintendent, Dr. Hamilton, and his administration. I believe also some of the people were still on the board at that time, who are on the board now. Dr. Hamilton's research showed that the traditional 7th, 8th grade model didn't work. We knew that it was a failure at A.B. Davis academically. Research showed that as New York City moved to a pre-K 8th grade model, student performance improved. And I believe we have demonstrated that here. Our students have improved academically, even with the challenges of COVID in 2020. Why is this board and administration suddenly deciding to change this model that the data shows is working? The truth is that this decision isn't in the best interest of the students. It's a last-ditch effort to keep the state from coming in and taking over the school district. This decision is financially motivated because we are in fiscal distress. And if we don't get out of fiscal distress, the state will come in and people will start losing their jobs. Why are we in fiscal distress? Because of gross financial mismanagement by this board, this district, and the previous district administration. A failure of the board to responsibly raise taxes over the past 9 years by long-term board members who sat on the board 9 years ago and they're still on the board today. A failure to properly allocate finances by the district has put us in fiscal distress. And I think someone mentioned something about $25 million missing from our budget this year. That's what I heard. Now you want to waste $108 million and put the 7th, 8th grader into high schools. Now that just doesn't make sense. I understand that because of years of neglect by an ineffective buildings and grounds department run by a no-show employee, Mr. Botros, we now have to close possibly 3 community schools. Okay, sorry, I strike the name. It is just sad that this board employed and allowed a person to stay employed who was neglecting the care of our buildings and our schools. I am encouraging you to find another way than putting the 7th and 8th grades into the high school. Have you done an analysis of the space in schools that will stay open to see if there is room for students to move into the existing schools and keep the 7th and 8th grade in place? That would be a win for everyone. The original survey asked if the parents wanted to see a separate middle school, not have the students in the high schools. The district will say that Pennington motivated to move the move to bring in the 7th and 8th graders into the schools, and that is true. Then they will say we have low numbers and we took our children out of the schools. There are reasons that happened. There was a lack of consistent leadership with 4 different principals in 6 years. And we had classes with no teachers. In 2021...
Ms. Lady, please try to wrap up. Thank you.
Okay, I'll go quickly. No kindergarten teacher. In 2022, no pre-K teachers for both classes. In 2023, starting the year with no 5th grade teachers, and then the teachers changing 3 different times. When we don't have classes, we don't have teachers for our classes, we're going to lose students. That is just facts. The district also needs to work out their contracts with the teachers and pay our very valuable teachers what we deserve. We did our own survey of the Pennington parents. An overwhelming majority of the parents opposed this transition. 84% of the Pennington parents opposed the removal of the 7th and 8th graders. 96% of our parents opposed putting the 7th and 8th grade children into the high school. 52% of our parents oppose a tax
Ms. Lady,
increase.
I think your time is up, please.
One more statement. 72% say that the district is not concerned with the academic success of our children. If you think our numbers are low now, put our kids in the high school and see how low our numbers get.
Thank
If
you.
you
Thank you,
care
Ms.
about
Lady.
the value
Ms.
of your
Lady.
home, see what happens. Okay,
Thank you. Have a good night.
thank you.
Sean Wilson.
Good evening, trustees and parents and community members. My name is actually Elliot Phipps. Sean Wilson is one of my managers. I'm here to provide at least partially a solution to some of the things that I'm hearing. And it kind of changed what I wanted to say. I have sat in the position of trustee, parent, not in this school district, but I'm here because I decided to make an investment in the children of Mount Vernon. I'm a business owner of two businesses. One is a logistics company that is a contractor for Amazon, and secondly, Tutor Doctor, which is why I'm here. I came and addressed the board almost a year ago. We provide one-to-one tutoring solutions based on a consultation with the family to provide instruction that is encompassing and includes the development of critical thinking through experiential learning. So we are very serious about changing the trajectory of learning for all of our children. My second thing for being here is to say that that is a profit-run organization, because I said I am a business person. At the same time, I have a foundation, and we are providing, during times that your children are not in school, enrichment sessions that include social emotional learning and coping with and dealing with AI and social media. So consider us a resource. You can find us simply through tutordoctor.org, and that is a gateway to finding out about all of the things that we have to offer. Thank you very much.
Janine Fiore.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Janine Fiore. I'm the parent of 3 children in the Mount Vernon City School District. My first question is, why are pat-downs still being done at the high schools? Pat-downs are not part of the district policy. Pat-downs that were being done at the university that was given to us as justifications have stopped, and they've added more security after the mass shooting that happened at that university. Why not merge the high schools? Why not merge elementary schools? Why are we looking to am I asking the questions too fast, or are you guys able to write them down so they can be answered at the next meeting? Okay. Why not merge elementary schools? Why do we want to move 11 and 12-year-olds into high schools? Where will the district find the money to put resources in all the high schools to accommodate 7th and 8th grade? Why were committees created before inviting parents and community members to join the committees? What is the difference between a committee and a subcommittee? When will the conversation start about looking at other models? Why are there no after-school programs in our high schools? How can we help students continue to have our schools in the top 20 percentile like we did in the year 22 if we don't have the resources and the support? I know I can't say schools' names, but I do want to say that the school that my 6th grader is at, they gave an awesome, amazing package to do regarding the election, and it didn't sway towards any candidate, and it left my 6th grader asking a lot of questions that we weren't prepared for. And so I thought that was really good. How much will it cost to convert all the high schools to meet the requirements to have 7th and 8th graders? The amount of students with the proposed model, will we turn all of our high schools into specialized schools to make sure the resources are there for our students? I'm just going over all the questions that I wrote during the meeting. I figure you guys will write them down and answer them. Where will the district find the resources to make this a successful transition? If we're doing this based off of financial need, where will we find the money? Committees committed. Why not merge high schools? Parents believe merging elementary schools. Oh, again, why not merge the high schools? Why not merge all the high schools? Parents believe merging elementary schools with the high school will increase class sizes and the older kids will be disciplined more. And will the merger lead to staff and administrators being laid off? How will this help our students if we're taking away resources? My phone died, so I ran out of questions. Thank you.
Paul Miller? Paul Miller? Latoya Anderson?
Good evening, everyone. I would just like to add to Janine's statement. My name is Latoya Anderson. I'm a parent. I'm a part of the PTA Council and the New York State PTA. I'm here today just to ask about the pat-down issue at one of the high school and basically the lack of communication surrounding this matter. Firstly, it has been over a week. We had the last meeting, and we have yet to receive an update, even though we were told that there would be a vote and we would reconvene. We have not. I did get an email from Dr. Smith yesterday, but I'm sorry to call name, from the acting superintendent yesterday, but it was not substantial. Additionally, I would like to inquire, why has there not been a meeting with the parents to discuss the situation? Because, so many parents have been raising concerns regarding that. Furthermore, based on the meeting last week, the search is continued despite the realization that the school was not acting in accordance with the board's policy, specifically 7300.60. So my ask is, can the board please address these concerns, board members, and provide clarity on the steps being taken to ensure that our students' rights, dignity, and safety are balanced. And I just wanted to add the New York State PTA, some stance regarding pat-down searches. Privacy rights, that's number one. The PTA advocates for respecting the privacy rights of students, emphasizing the need for any search to be reasonable and conducted with clear justification. Number two, alternative safety measures. The New York State PTA often encourages schools to explore alternative measures to ensure safety that do not involve invasive searches, but to do programs, educational programs, counseling, and positive behavioral intervention. And last but not least, student support. Emphasis is placed on the importance of providing support and resources to students rather than punitive measures and fostering positive school climate. And I do believe I have another 1 minute to go. Okay, may I also add regarding the reconfiguration of the buildings, my question is, if you're gonna put 7 and 8 graders in all 3 high schools, what's the capacity for Denzel Washington? Because I know that that school cannot accommodate as much student. So how is it that additional students will be transferred to that school and the classroom, because initially that was an elementary school, and the classrooms are small, and how will that work? And yeah, these are questions. So if you could just please clarify, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Jariah Alvaranga.
Good evening, everyone. Actually, that's my email address, but that's okay. My son's name. Initially, when I signed up for this board meeting, it was based on not having, a lot of my questions were responded to during the town hall meeting. However, I want to say this. I was one of the parents who was out last week at Chapagan, encouraging parents to respond to that survey. And as I speak to parents, as much as I had some background knowledge and I responded to all 3 surveys, I realized every single parent I spoke to, and I probably spoke to over 30 parents, not one of them understood what that survey was about. And I had to explain to them that A, there was a deadline, and that they need to attend this town hall meeting. I'm hoping I saw a lot of faces, so I hope they all made it here. But the issue is, obviously, communication is not working. And I've asked, what are your metrics? How are you reaching out to these parents? I know I'm familiar with Infinite Campus. Software like that comes with reporting metrics that you can run. You can tell how many parents get your email if you bought the tool with all the bells and whistles that comes with it. You can run reports, you can tell who unsubscribed from their messages, you can tell who reaches it, who even opened those messages. It goes to a lot of details, so I'm hoping that's being utilized. Now, my other concern is there's a lack of transparency. And when you have lack of transparency, people are going to make assumptions, and when they make assumptions, you don't want that because it's not going to be good. I know this meeting was very combative, and I understand because from the parent point of view, they're coming in with a lack of information. The other issue that I've noticed too is that I believe it's a shift of where the problem is when we need to address the root cause. So I'm hoping that you all listen and really think about how communication is going out to our parents. I think it will prove a lot of things if the communication method is effective. The next thing too, your website, there's a lot of, oh, go to your website. Your website is not user-friendly. I spend a lot of time looking around, and I know my background, yes, I will navigate and I'll find my way, but what's the average parent who don't have the knowledge, A, and who's gonna sit there and sift through all that information? You need to work on improving your website. Lastly, I wanna speak to parents, and I'm gonna say parents, guardians, community members, and business owners. When I spoke to some of the parents, not all, they were thinking, oh, this doesn't matter to me because I have kids in the school. Oh, I have kids in the lower grade. Well, guess what? It affects all of us. And I'm encouraging you to pay attention. I remember back in 2018, the Times Magazine did an article on Mount Vernon. Yes, the focus was on Fleetwood. I work in the city. Many times I have colleagues that approach me and they're like, we're decided to relocate. How about Mount Vernon? I love Mount Vernon. I went to Mount Vernon High School. I graduated from Mount Vernon High School. I am a fan of public school. But I'll be honest with you, every single year I reevaluate, should I pull my kids out of the school district? Should I move? Yes, I have roots here. I'm paying double property tax in Mount Vernon because I'm invested in the community. And I'm like, you know what? Probably let me stick it out. Let me be involved and let my voices hear, get to know what's going on. My concern is that business owners, you may not be directly affected, but you're getting affected indirectly. You have a low, the rate of enrollment is declining. Really look into the reason why. You don't have young families moving to Mount Vernon, guess what? Your business may not be as successful. The neighbors, your property. Think about your property value. You have a good school district, your property value goes up. So it affects all of us. You don't have to have kids in the school district. So don't sit back and think this does not affect you. You need to get involved and you need to let your voices heard. Good night, everyone.
Juanita Thomas.
God bless everyone up on the board. Okay. All right. It starts here at the board, is what I would like to say. I came this evening to discuss what I feel is very important. I feel that I've been led by my Heavenly Father God to come. In light of all that we are witnessing on all fronts in our world and in our society itself, but right now, I'm concerned with our city, Mount Vernon, and I want to deal with our city, this school system. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little nervous. Okay, first of all, I want to state that I was born here in the city of Mount Vernon. And I started at Nathan Hale School, graduated from Washington Junior High School, and ultimately finished at Mount Vernon High School. Initially, in Nathan Hale when I started, each day we said the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. And we also quoted, "Our Father, which art in heaven." In doing so, we were putting God first. The problem in America is that we've taken God out. I don't care how brainiac we are, how bright we are. I've got a grandson, 92 average right now. I'm sorry, I'm getting off course of what I wrote in this paper. I'm being led by the power of God. Plays the piano, has many gifts. But I don't care how bright you are. You need divine intervention to deal with the things that are going on in the face of this world today. You're dealing with other forces. And what happens, you ever heard, a little leaven will leaven the whole lump. And that's what we're dealing with today. Our schools are not the learning institutions that they were designed to be. And that's what we need, is learning institutions. And okay, hold on 1 minute. The Lord is going to help me. What we're witnessing today is foolishness. And our children are losing out. And our children are at risk because of the different behaviors and things that are going on. Anytime I did child protective work, adult protective work. I started off at the health center, adult protective work. I also taught in the school systems after I left the county after 31 years. I would look at the faces of the children, and I wondered where they were going back home to. There's a lot going on, but the only way we're going to solve these problems, we got to put God first. I watched a segment on TV in which sometimes when children came into classes, and this was a segment, when teachers thought that they came from certain places, the ones that were maybe more, whatever you want to call them, more polished or whatever, they put them like that. But you might have had a brilliant kid sitting back here. But anyway, I want to end this. I don't care how brilliant we are or loving, okay, remember this. Our mental institutions, morals, and everything's fulfilled. Only God can help us and the problems and things that we're facing today. If we don't put God first, even in the city of Mount Vernon, everything's going to fail. You hear what I'm saying? Remember my face. Everything's about to fall. Everything is about to fall. And that's why I came. I didn't want to come here, but the Lord got me up to come here. And you know, right before I came here, I drive a van around because people are dropping like flies. Our minds and bodies are not designed to handle the pressures of life that's falling upon the face of it. Starting with Nita. Nita first. Let me wear them shoes first. Bye-bye.
That ends public comment. Dr. Smith.
Good evening. We have two presentations. The first one will be from EFPR, our external auditor, followed by Michelle McKitty-Bromley. She's the Director of Pupil Personnel Services, and she will present enhancing reading outcomes for students with disabilities through collaborative partnerships.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Doug Zimmerman, partner with EFPR Group, and I'm here to present the results of the audit of the district for the year ended June 30th of 2024. We did have the opportunity earlier this week to meet with the audit committee to review the results in detail, and I'm going to just present some highlights here and a summary of those results. And at the conclusion of my comments, I certainly be happy to answer any questions you may have. Again, we completed that audit as of June 30th of 2024 for that fiscal year. We issue several. Oh, you have the slide up there. Okay. Okay, next slide then. Yeah. We issue a number of reports in connection with the district's operations. There's the overall financial statements. We also issue opinions on your single audit or a federal grant compliance audit. There's also a report on your extra classroom activity funds. And then the last report we issue is, well, two reports. One is a management letter and the other is a report to the board. We will be issuing what's called an unmodified or a clean opinion on the overall financial statements, which is exactly what you want to receive. That represents that the accounting records after adjustment were in conformity with generally accepted accounting principles. Again, as I mentioned, there is a federal grant compliance audit. The district receives approximately $21.5 million of federally sourced money, most of that flowing through the New York State Department of Education. As part of that, we're required to audit the internal controls and your compliance with the federal guidelines over the expenditure of those dollars. I'm happy to report back that your stewardship of that was in accordance with the guidelines. There were no issues with regards to the federal dollars that we needed to have in our report. So it's a clean opinion on the oversight of that, again, that $21.5 million of federal money. We also issued, as I mentioned, a clean opinion on the extra classroom activity fund. Jose and his entire team were very cooperative in providing us with all the information we requested. There was nothing that we had asked for that wasn't provided to us on a free basis. We do also issue an opinion on what's called government auditing standards. There were two findings that we had in there, one having to do with audit readiness. There were a number of vacancies that occurred in the district throughout the year, and as a result of those unfilled positions, timely reconciliation of some accounts was delayed, and so we had a finding with regards to that. The second finding had to do with budgetary control. At June 30th of 2024, there was a deficit in your unassigned fund balance, and so we make reference to that. Next slide, please. Again, that is a summary of the two findings. The audit readiness finding was a repeat finding from 2024, and the budget control finding was new for was a repeat from 2023, and the budget control finding was a new comment for 2024. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, we also issue what's called a management letter. Those are items that don't rise to the degree of materiality that the other two comments had. There were no new comments in the current year, but as part of our professional responsibilities, we follow up on comments that were in the 2023 letter. There were 11 comments in 2023. 3 of those were properly resolved, and 8 of them were repeated. 5 of those 8 all revolved around the extra classroom activity funds. There was also a comment with regards to your special revenue fund, journal entries, and then the taxes receivable from the city of Mount Vernon. Next slide. With regards to the resolved comments, there was another comment with the special aid fund that was resolved. Bank reconciliation, outstanding items was also resolved, and then the dating of disbursements was also resolved. Next slide. As I mentioned, there was another document that we prepared called a report to the board. It's required communication between an audit firm and the governing body, and it really summarizes the results of the audit. And I'll just go through these quickly. Significant accounting policies were clearly described in Note 1 to the statements. Accounting estimates were reasonable and supported, and as part of our audit procedures, we review those. The financial statement disclosures, meaning the notes to the statement, were clear and concise. There were no difficulties in performing the audit. Anytime we perform an audit, we develop an audit plan and a strategy, and there were no circumstances that we saw during the course of the engagement that deviated or caused us to modify that plan. Again, the audit readiness comment was a repeat comment from the year before, so we knew that going into the audit planning for this year. Next slide, please. There were no consultations with other accountants. There were no disagreements with management about any matters related to the district's financial statements or our opinions. And there are no other matters that we would consider significant that warranted consideration by the committee. Again, that's a very high-level overview of the results. As I mentioned, it was reviewed in detail with the committee, and I'd certainly be happy to answer any questions that the board members may have.
Can I have a question? Thank you for that. That was very helpful. I just had a question about the other post-employment benefits liabilities. Could you talk a little bit about that? I know there was an actuarial adjustment that brought that down, but how manageable is that in your view?
Sure. OPEB or other post-employment benefits, for those that don't know, it is the retiree health insurance for your employees. So that is contractually obligated through your collective bargaining agreements. You hire an actuary to do a calculation of that liability. They get a census from you of all your employees, their ages, how long they've been with the district, and then they go through a calculation. Trust me, I am not an actuary, but I'll give you a high-level overview of it. They go through a calculation. They determine based on life expectancies, based on healthcare trend analysis, based on discount rates. They do a calculation of what is the actually determined present value of the obligation that you have to provide that benefit to those retirees, assuming all the employees stay with you and reach retirement age. So that is a balance that is then present value to current day. So in theory, that's the amount of money that you would have to have on hand to fund that liability through the life expectancy of all your employees. And that can change greatly each year based on, again, healthcare trends or on discount rates. And so they go through that calculation, and then that information is utilized in recording that into your underlying accounting records and recording it into the financial statements. But it is something that is for the district-wide statements. It really has no impact on your year-to-year budget, because the year-to-year budget, it's what we call a pay-as-you-go basis. So you're only paying the premiums that the health insurers are giving you, each month or each year to provide the current year's health insurance benefits. So OPEB has no bearing on the district's taxpayer-approved budget.
Thank you again for that report. The extracurricular activities account, that is a separate finding or a separate, I guess, a report that you present to us?
Yeah, you have a number of extra classroom funds. It's really the student funds in the various schools. And as part of the requirements for New York State Education Department, there has to be a separate audit for that. And what it does is it really looks at the balances from the beginning of the school year, meaning July 1st of 2023, the inflows or the money that they've raised, and then the expenditures or the disbursements for the various activities of the clubs, and then reports the ending balance. And that ending balance is within the overall financial statements themselves. But there is a whole separate report delineated by each club.
Okay, and the finding on that was the bank reconciliations were not completed? Is that a repeat finding, or is that something that's new?
There were 5 findings revolving around the extra classroom activity funds. They were all repeat findings from the year before, and it's fairly typical in a lot of districts. We do about 35 districts across the state, and it's more common than not that there are issues around the extra classroom activity funds, because obviously students are involved in it. But ideally, what you want is timely reconciliations, timely reporting back. And that was really the gist of the findings.
Thank you.
My question is for Dr. Smith. Are we going to return to putting the external audit on the district site as we used to? The last time we put it up, the district site says it was 2022. Will we begin with putting this latest external audit for 2024 up on the district site? Okay. Thank you. My question actually was answered actually to some extent. I was concerned, I wanted to know repeat findings. So I've listened to audits for this district for the past 3+ years. Is there a way for us to get a synopsis, like highlighted, what were repeated? Is that in this document as well? What were repeat findings and what years they came from?
Well, we were new auditors to the district in 2023, so basically we followed up on all the findings that were in the 23 audit report. As I mentioned, there's a separate document, the management letter. So all 11 of those findings that were in 2023 are followed up on in the 2024 report that's been provided, and it would either indicate that it's been resolved or that it's still ongoing. So
Okay,
each one of them is addressed.
And I think you said that 3 out of the 11 were resolved.
Yes.
So that means 8 of them were not, and 5 of them were due to
The extra classroom
extracurricular
activities, yes.
Okay, so there's still 3 even after that are still not resolved from prior year findings.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
The biggest one is the tax issue with the city.
During the call also, the tax findings with the city impacting the situation fiscally.
Yes.
I can't remember. I know I asked you, had we raised taxes responsibly or as we should have probably for the past 9-10 years, would that have us in a better place now with our fund balance and overall? Or that's just your personal or professional opinion, not bound?
Well, obviously, anytime you raise taxes, that generates more revenue that allows the district to either expend those dollars or have increased fund balance. All right, thank you, everyone.
Before Ms. McKinney-Bromley speaks, I would just like to wish her a happy birthday.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, President Saunders, Vice President Kelly, and board trustees, community members, staff members. Good evening. This evening, I'm just speaking about some collaborations that we have with the partnerships that we have to enhance our outcomes for our students with disability in the area of reading at this time. Okay, thank you. Oh, down. Better? All right, thank you. Starting with our why. Why are we partnering? We are partnering to improve student outcomes for all students with disabilities. Who are we collaborating with? The Mount Vernon City School District is collaborating with the Regional Partnership Center, which is coming from PNW BOCES, to enhance the resources and support available to our educators and administrators who directly impact students with disabilities. Why? Why, you ask? This collaboration aims to equip teachers with specialized tools and strategies to meet individual students' diverse needs, better ensuring an inclusive and effective learning environment for all. The New York State Education Department has a blueprint for improved results that are multi-tiered, independence of self-advocacy, family partnerships, specially designed instruction, also known as SDI, research-based instruction, inclusive activities, and transition support. The Regional Partnership Center promotes meaningful change within the educational system, builds collaborative school-community relationships, as well as provides information and training in the areas of literacy, behavior transition, specially designed instruction, and equity. The schools currently receiving support are Graham, Grimes, Mount Vernon Honor Academy, Trapegan, and Mount Vernon High School. The goals for 2024-25 school year are student outcome by May 2025, given evidence-based phonics instruction with fidelity, students with disabilities in ICT and self-contained classes K through 3 will achieve 80% proficiency on phonics assessments that are aligned to their IEP goals. Our district is currently using foundations, so this is based on phonics instruction with foundations, and also we have some of our unique learners, which everyone known as cohort, but I've moved to the name of unique learners, and they are utilizing varying tools to marry both of them for those students who are not able to, the unique learners, to actually outright use foundations. They are using both components of foundations and UL to better assist those students. Our practice goal, so by May 2025, teachers of self-contained classes will engage in monthly database decision-making meetings using data from foundations unit tests, or other early literacy assessments to inform instruction as evidenced by a score of 80% on the database decision-making tool Fidelity Checklist, which they are providing from the regional partnership and working with the teachers, as well as the administrators. Our leaders, we need to change about how we operate so that our staff can change their practices and improve outcomes for students with disabilities. So the work includes everyone. The high school has their own set of goals. The 9th grade students with disabilities will increase their reading achievement measured by an increase of 50 or more Lexile points using Achieve 3000 level set reading assessment. So the practice in the high school, they have something called strategic reading, and that is implement one evidence-based practice for reading to fidelity as measured by a score of 80% on Fidelity Checklist tool on 3 consecutive occasions. So the high school is implementing utilizing reading teachers as offering the strategic reading for those students who are having difficulties with reading in the 9th grade. By May 2025, a district and building administrative team will meet 3 or more times to engage a database decision-making using data collected 3 or 4 times from walkthrough tools, evidence-based practice indicators, and data points of reading assessment completion, as evidenced by meeting agendas, walkthrough data, and student reading assessments. What does the work look like? Assessments, teacher analysis, making better informed decisions about instruction, what students' needs are, instructional changes, and repeating the cycle to improve and making sure that our students are achieving academically. When did this work take place? It happens in the elementary schools through PLC meetings, coaching the staff from the RPC, coaches the staff, working with the teachers, both teachers and administrators for the benefit of the students. Same at the high school through training and coaching. How will this work get measured? This is happening through walkthroughs with the regional partnership, through calibration and common language, use of tools, monthly meetings with the Mount Vernon team and regional partnership team. So the monthly meetings not only occur in school, we are also combined with Dr. Doggett and the curriculum instruction team in order to achieve this work. Data meetings also with teachers and administrators. So the meetings are taking place at the school level and also at the district level. Highlights: free training and support for teachers, free training for administrators, free training district-wide, and decision-making. Various data points support decision-making. So this team is working with us. Definitely, we know that there's a need for additional support for our students to improve outcomes for all students. At this moment, for students with disabilities is our highlight for the team's collaboration with us at this time. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
You want to go? Go ahead, Donna. You go.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Dr. Smith, will we be able to receive a copy of this presentation? It's very difficult to, we couldn't see it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sorry. I thought it was given to you prior to. I apologize. I would have had copies.
Thank you for that. And I just wanted to say thank you for willing to be accountable here and set a chain of goals up. And I look forward to hearing you come back in May to report the good news of the results.
Okay, I look forward to doing so.
Thanks.
Thank you.
That ends the superintendent report.
So we're going to go right into committee reports. I'm going to start with Trustee Liz, student trustee. Any committee reports for you? Okay, thank you. We're going to go to audit. Trustee Kerwin.
Sorry. We met with the auditors and they presented the results to the community.
The report he just did.
So I have no additional report.
Thank you. The claims report. You have nothing to report on that?
Claims, no, we have not met.
Budget,
We have not met recently either.
education, facilities. Trustee White.
Good evening, everyone. Over the past 3 weeks, our dedicated facilities team completed numerous important repairs and improved across the district, enhancing safety, efficiency,
Put your mic up, Trustee White.
and winter readiness in all our schools. They successfully addressed fire inspection requirements by repairing emergency lights and doors. We serviced all district generators and inspected all carbon monoxide detectors. The team also prepared boilers for the colder weather, ensuring that each building is warm and operational. From replacing entry doors and installations at Mount Vernon High School to repair heating lines, HVAC leaks, and updating security locks district-wide. Our team has worked diligently to create safe and comfortable learning environments. Additionally, they completed various structural upgrades, like new emergency lighting, plumbing repairs, and maintenance in common areas, setting our schools up for a successful winter session. And I always like to give kudos to our custodial staff, our buildings and ground staff, and all that have been working with our great facility staff. Thank you. Question?
I just had a couple of, Dr. Smith, I'm gonna send you some questions regarding the report on all the buildings that have, if there are buildings with boiler issues and timelines for any that are malfunctional, if we can have a breakdown in the cost for Mount Vernon High School in-house repairs, and the findings in the hospitality leadership ceilings inspection. I'll send you a question list for those things, because I'd like to know, these were things that were mentioned in the report for facilities, but I'd like some details, so we can see. I'll send that to you today. Thank you.
Next is HR committee.
No committee report.
No report for HR? Okay.
No.
IDA, Mr. McDonough?
The IDA is scheduled to meet on the 14th, Thursday the 14th, and I'll just head you off. Special Education Committee meeting is also scheduled for the 14th. I will, regarding special education, I just got a notice that there will be a training from the Westchester Institute for Human Development, WIHD. It'll be a Zoom training on November 20th regarding the New York State alternative assessments, which are assessments for students, typically for students with pretty significant developmental disabilities. Also on the 14th, I'll just, as a general announcement for the community, next Thursday night, the 14th, the comptroller will be giving a financial state of the city address, and I would encourage all residents to tune in and listen to that.
Thank you, Mr. McDonough. Insurance, Trustee Kerwin, anything?
No, not met.
The Policy Committee met yesterday regarding the pat-downs at the schools. We decided that we wanted to bring the whole board in to discuss a resolution as to what we need to do going forward and make sure that all the schools are doing the same thing regarding searches and pat-downs, if that's going to be the case. So the board's going to meet, the policy committee is going to meet with the rest of the school board trustees to discuss, and then we'd like to include the PTA as well, and then parents, to come to a resolution of how we're going to move forward.
I have a question, Madam
Sure.
President. Yes. Should we be continuing these pat-downs if we are in the process of reviewing a policy?
So as it stands, the pat-downs that were going on at the STEAM Academy will become random, not everyday pat-downs. So I believe some of the other schools are random pat-downs, some of the other high schools. Mount Vernon High School is random.
I have a question as well. I just want assurance that we will be in conformance with the board-approved code of conduct. That's essentially what we need to be assured of.
Correct. So we're going to have that discussion tonight.
But we are now. That's
Yes.
basically what you're saying?
Yes,
Okay.
when we go into an executive session, the board's going to discuss further a policy for
I'm
this.
sorry, just one question. Oh, sorry, are you done? Based on that question just now, so we're now moving according to our policy for these? Are we now moving accordingly to the policy, or? So that means not every student is being patted down, every single student, yes or no? It doesn't mean that?
Can I have something to say? Can I interject? I just want to interject because I'm on the committee, and basically our TA, Rebecca Turner Academy, they have to do it every day. They do not have a metal detector, and given that population of students, you know, that's something that has to be done every day.
Is it every single student? in
Well,
that?
with Rebecca, they got about 9,300 kids, you know, so they have to do it because. So we will be getting back to the community in terms of what our president has said, and we'll come to some kind of conclusion.
Yeah, all right, all right, thank you. Thank you.
So I'm a little confused. Are we updating our policy? Are we updating our policy?
So we are working on, the
Okay.
policy committee is working on the policy. So we have a uniform policy across the school district.
Across the school district, yes. Any other questions regarding that? No, we're good. Safety and security, trustee Njenga? Thank you. Special education?
We will be meeting next week.
Okay. And technology, there's nothing. Wellness, trustee trustee Mitchell?
The Wellness Committee has not met. I'm not actually certain, well, no, we have not met recently. I have sent some questions out regarding the inspections. I know that we had Mr. Bigley came and he did some inspections at some of our buildings. I have followed up again to ask what those findings were, and I have also requested Dr. Smith again for the health department findings for any of the buildings in the district that were inspected back in the late September, early October timeframe. So I'll stand by for that, and hopefully we'll have something to report from that. That's all I have at this time.
Thank you. Moving on to follow.
I'm sorry, Madam President, may I, before we move on to the resolutions, guys, next week, or I'm sorry, the next board meeting in 2 weeks, I'm going to recommend that we have a couple of resolutions to address the reorganization. One that would move it so that all board trustees are a member of that committee. Just so you know, we haven't had that because having all the board members together, you have a quorum, and so that's been the problem. But there are ways to do that, for example, with our audit committee. So we'll be looking into doing that, and also to resolve that we will have members from the community, PTAs, each building in the community, formally part of that reorganization committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McDonough.
community members on the reorg committee?
I think there's one, a parent. There are some staff members, but I think we should, based on the feedback we got tonight from the community, I think we need to go deeper with that and make it formal, and the way to do that would be to have a formal resolution.
Okay, moving on to following up on old business. There are questions regarding following questions. What is the district doing about DSW, Denzel Washington School of the Arts, not having a math teacher for 2 months? The answer is the math special ed classes are being taught by Mrs. Shirley Bruce, a certified teacher. She will cover classes for 3 days and will start on November 7th. Principal Thomas will take turns with math teachers to cover the other 2 days. Question, what is the status of credit recovery? Answer, we are working on this being resolved. Question, what is the status of the charter school? Answer, this answered twice in the last 2 board meetings. Question, how much money is food service paying? How much money is the food service company making monthly? Answer, this is a FOIL request. Please email Lori Pirelli at mtvernoncsd.org. Question, where can the community get information on how to access the link to the district meeting being live streamed? The Mount Vernon community can view each board meeting by visiting our website, mtvernoncsd.org, and navigating the billboard. The link for the meeting streams will always be in the carousel of events on the days of the meeting and leading up to the meetings. You can also scroll further on our website for the calendar. If you click on the Board of Education meeting on the calendar, a pop-up will display with the link in the meeting live stream. Otherwise, you can scroll over the district at the top of the website, click Board of Education, then click Meeting Video Library on the left side of the bar of the Board of Education. That's all for old business. We can go right into the resolutions.
Trustee Mitchell, you have the floor.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to bring back to the floor HR Resolution 113B, classified from October 15, 2024.
Can I have a second?
Which one was that?
Questions, concerns, discussion? All in favor? Oppose? Abstain?
I have to abstain. I abstain. Right.
That was just to bring it back on the floor, wasn't it?
Motion carried. Can I have a motion for 6.2, Human Resources, 114A, certified? Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. I have a motion for 6.3, Human Resources 114B, classified.
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor?
Question. Why are we adding new personnel after the presentation that we had today? Why are we adding new programs? Yes.
These aren't new programs. These are new programs for the school year. So starting at 2020, at the end of this past school year, we had 13 additional programs, SPED programs, that had to be added to different buildings throughout the district. So these this required, especially for this tab, in terms of like lunch monitors to assist with the students that aren't able to walk to the cafeteria. So there was a request made by various principals to ask for additional lunch monitors to assist with feeding those students.
All in favor?
Question.
Oh.
Dr. Smith, do we have any overlap with administrators working after school? Yeah, in other words, I see that they work on one program, and I don't know if it's a grant, but then they're also attached to another program. So I'm asking, is there any overlap? Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 6.4, request for leave of absence?
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. A motion for 7.1, authorization to hire staff for the Lehman College program for the 24-25 school year.
Second.
Trustee Mitchell, was that you?
Yes, that was me.
Questions, concerns, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. We have a motion for 7.2, authorization to hire staff for the Smart Scholars Program at Denzel Washington School of the Arts, Mount Vernon High School, and Mount Vernon STEAM Academy for the 24-25 school year. Can I have a second? Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 7.3, authorization to hire staff for after-school programs for K-8 students for the 24-25 school year?
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Aye. Me. I have to abstain.
Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 8.1, approval of pupil personnel services memorandum number 8, dated November 7th, 2024. Can I have a second?
Second.
Who was that? Sorry, male voice.
Donna.
Okay. No, two.
Question.
Questions, concerns, discussions?
Is it available to us to see the amount of students that are on homebound so that we can understand what the need for staff members are, especially when we're adding to it? I'll send you an email.
Any more questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 9.1, approval of emergency repair work at Lincoln School?
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. A motion for 9.2, authorization of an amendment agreement with Colliers Engineering and Design Architect, Landscape Architect, Surveying, CTPC. Can I have a motion? Can I have a second? Second.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions?
Question, can somebody clarify? Can you clarify what this?
Apparently, there's been a request to bring in, to have energy for the last 2 or 3 years. We're finally getting to it.
So is this an audit or, I don't understand. I'm a little confused.
So you remember many people came to us and they discussed helping us save on energy. This is the person that it goes through so that we could put out an RFP.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain?
Abstain.
Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 9.3, authorization to amend emergency repair work at Graham School resolution?
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 10.1, approve general funds transfer, purchase order for increases 24-25, dated November 7th, 2024. Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 10.2, certification of uncollected taxes with 23-24 tax roll?
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. I have a motion for 10.3, authorization to accept the annual external auditor's report audit for the 23-24 school year, financial statements, extra classroom activity report, and supplementary information.
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 10.4, approval for cheerleading team to travel to Wilkes Barre Township, Pennsylvania to compete in the regional competition.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions?
I have a question. I think it was early in the year that we had approved the busing for this. Is this separate? Is this an additional tryout that we're going to, or what is this? Is it additional? I don't remember this. It's additional? Because we had approved, grade grade. Was in Pennsylvania. I don't know, that's not. It's additional. Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 10.5 to accept the donation for Mount Vernon Boys and Girls Track Activity Account?
Motion.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor? Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 11.1, approval to amend consultant agreement between Alan Gonzalez and the Mount Vernon City School District?
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions?
Is this someone employed as a consultant now in our district? He's always been in our district. And what's the difference between this principal and the ones that? Yeah. Oh, he's a substitute. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay.
I have a question. When we utilize these services, are they for extended periods of time? What's the protocol in terms of when we acquire these services?
It can be for extended period of time.
Is it for one day, or is it for?
It could be one day, it could be for a month, it could be for 2 weeks.
So I guess my question would be, would that be the best, when there's a person out, there's an assistant, there's another administrator in the building, for one day, wouldn't that other administrator be able to absorb some of those responsibilities as opposed to utilizing our already extended resources for this? Or is there some kind of protocol that we want to put that we need in order to say if it's an extended period of time and not just one day?
So if it's for one day, that means the assistant principal's out and the principal's out. So you don't have administrator in the building.
So this is when no administrator is in the building?
That's correct. For one day, you're asking.
Yes.
If a principal's out for 2 weeks or for a month, then he's called into the building.
Okay, is there any stipulation that we can use, or that's just the discretion of the superintendent?
So basically, you know, we have two administrators in the building for a reason. So if in fact someone's out and they're going to be out for extended period of time, we want to maintain the building. If it's for a day and you have one in, that's fine. If it's for a month, we usually like to have those administrators in the building.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain?
Abstain.
Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 12.1, authorization to approve resolutions 12.2 through 12.9 on the matters pertaining to the 2025 school budget vote and trustee election?
Motion. Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 13.1 to enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing pending litigation, the financial history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment, employment, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation, and to receive legal advice on pending matters? You have a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Oh.
I hope not. Coming back.
Are we coming back, President? We may come back. So we may, I don't know how long maybe we need to address that one first. So we may be back in about 20 minutes. Thank you. Yeah, we need you.